Howdy folks, I'm clairvoyant clouded sulfur, carelessly careening through cumulus clouds.
I'm Amber.
And here are more cumulus clouds for us to careen through, although I don't know how we got that far up in the sky, to be quite honest. But we're pretty powerful for butterflies. We must have like the biggest, beefiest butterfly wings ever. Just call me Arnold Butterfly Schwarzenegger. Let's get started. Alright folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Wanting Our Daughter to Look Like Us? We have a daughter, a 6-year-old female at this point. Both me and my husband have brown hair, but our daughter has red hair. We both have Irish ancestry, so it made sense, but we're a bit upset as it made her look quite different from both of us. She has pretty short hair, and she sometimes puts a brown wig over her red hair. Once a week, we went to my friend's house, and she asked me why my daughter was wearing a wig. I told her that we wanted her to look like us, so we asked her to do it sometimes, not forced. I also told her that we might ask her to dye her brown hair once she's old enough for that. My friend immediately got mad and said that I shouldn't be trying to alter her hair just because I don't like it. She said that I should just get over my disappointment. I think that it was petty and rude of her, and I just wanted our daughter to look like us. I asked a few other friends for their opinions, and they all said that I was in the wrong. So I'm wondering if I'm the jerk. All right, folks, what do you think?
Yes, OP, you are majorly in the wrong. Children are not dolls that you can pick their features of. Sometimes they will get features that resemble you or your partner. Sometimes they won't. You just have to accept that. It is not okay to make a child feel bad about their hair, to try and make them change their hair. Like, you're setting her up to hate her natural body just because it doesn't physically mimic yours. And that's not okay.
Yeah, my suggestion is that maybe in the future they should go and get their genes selectively checked out on on when they're trying to actually have another kid, so they can genetically engineer the child that will most look like them. That way they won't be disappointed in the future by having the wrong looking child.
Well, that's I honestly, I think
Designer babies.
designer babies is not a good thing. And I think if you cannot accept your child however they come out, you should not have children. Especially for something as superficial as hair color. If you're upset your kid came out with red hair when you have brown hair, you have no business being a parent.
I think it's a tremendously short-sighted thing for them to be doing this. It's clear that they have some kind of resentment towards the fact that their kid has red hair, and they're taking it out on their kid. And they say, oh, well, she's doing this voluntarily. She's 6.
Well, yeah, that's why that's a good point. Something I want to bring up too. Yeah, of course, 6-year-olds will go along with what their parents say, but
you want to look like mommy and daddy? Right? That's all it takes. That's all it takes. And then, of course, the kid's going to say yes. And why does the kid have short hair? I wonder why. Could it possibly be that mommy and daddy are cutting it short so that she can wear a wig over the top of her hair?
Right. And so it's just such a horrible way to treat a child. And it makes me very upset for this poor child.
Yeah. So I think that OP and their husband or wife, I don't remember which one is which here, need to really sit down and have sit down and think about what they've done here, right? They need a timeout. I really hope that they can reflect on this and start to really see that they are in the wrong, because their friends have all said that they're in the wrong, and now they're going to Reddit because they're like, no, Reddit clearly is going to agree with us here. If everyone in your life is telling you that you're in the wrong, then maybe you should listen to all those people, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned. Certified Drama Llama.
I mean, I'd go a little harsher than just Drama Llama. I think OP needs some parenting courses, something to help them love their daughter and accept her as she is, and not try and turn her into a mini version of them.
Yeah, well, they are being a drama llama for sure.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't be trying to alter their child in this way. And Air Affectionate 8772 says, you're the jerk, and this is how you give your kid a complex and self-esteem issues. You're a terrible parent. Maybe dye your hair red to match hers if it's that important. That's actually a really good point.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very, very good point. And Unicorn Forever K says, you're the jerk. Your daughter has one of the most beautiful hair types through a fluke of genetics. It doesn't make her not your daughter. She's your daughter. Celebrate what makes her unique. Don't try to force her into a box based on what you think she should be.
Well, and like again, that's just like a fact of life. Kids looking or not like you can have a child who is biologically your child and have them coming out looking nothing like you.
Yeah.
Genetics are not guaranteed.
Yeah. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for refusing to cancel my birthday trip because my boyfriend's mom planned a family dinner the same day? I'm a 20-year-old female and I planned a weekend getaway with 2 close friends for my birthday. I've had a rough year and this trip was something that I was really looking forward to. It's nothing wild, just a cabin, some wine, and hiking. I booked over a month ago and told my boyfriend, 23-year-old male, right away. He said that it sounded fun and he was happy for me. Well, a few days ago, his mom decided to host a family dinner on the same weekend. She didn't ask about our plans, she just texted the whole family and was like, dinner at our place on Saturday night. Everyone is expected. My boyfriend asked if I could cancel the trip or at least come back early so that I could attend. I told him no, it's my birthday and I made the plans first, and I wasn't going to cut it short for something that his mom planned last minute. He got really quiet and said that I was being disrespectful of his family and choosing friends over people who really care. Now he's distant, and his sister texted me something like, it's not that hard to show up for family. I don't hate his family at all, but this felt unfair. Am I the jerk for sticking to my birthday plans? All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk. I think that honestly, this gives me major like bad vibes about the relationship as a whole, because OP had plans first.
Yeah.
And it seems like his mom just sprung these plans on, or like, I expect you to be there. She has to understand that her children and their partners are grown adults with their own lives. She can't just impose her trip on them and expect them all to just drop everything for her.
Well, yeah, and I think that OP should have just immediately replied back to the text chain and said, oh, sorry, I can't be there. I already have plans. And that would have been the end of that. And I think that the boyfriend here and the mother-in-law are acting incredibly entitled. Like, this is OP's time. They've already planned this trip. Other people are going to be going to this trip with OP, right? This isn't just something that OP can go ahead and move around,
Right.
This was, inked in on her calendar.
Right. It's important to honor your obligations and commitments to other people that you've already established. And I would question the relationship, because if boyfriend's response is to be like, oh, well, you're not valuing the people you care about first, or who care about you, or whatever he said exactly. First of all, OP's friends are more like closer to her than his family. I know his family is close to him, but OP's a recent addition to the family, not like, she's presumably known these friends for a while. And like, you can have relationships that are very close that aren't familial relationships.
Yeah.
But then secondly, like the way he and his sister are trying to pressure OP into doing this, like it makes me scared for the future, because what if anytime OP can't do something or doesn't want to do something with the family, is there going to be a guilt trip? Is there going to be, you're not valuing family? Is this going to come back to bite OP?
Yeah, is their reputation going to decrease in the family because of them actually doing reasonable things? But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Leah C says, absolutely not the jerk. You planned this trip well in advance, and it's your birthday, a celebration you deserve, especially after a tough year. His mom's last-minute dinner doesn't automatically override your existing plans, and it's unfair for them to frame this as some kind of loyalty test. The real issue here is the lack of respect for your time and the guilt tripping. Your boyfriend has no problem with the trip when you first told him, but suddenly disrespectful for not dropping everything. This is a double standard. If the family time was so non-negotiable, he could have told his mom, hey, OP already has a birthday plan that weekend, can we adjust? Instead, he's making you the villain for what? Sticking to commitments? Stand your ground. Healthy relationships do not demand that you cancel meaningful plans to cater to someone else's poor scheduling. And if his family really cares, then they would be understanding that birthdays and boundaries matter too. Enjoy your trip, guilt-free. And OP replies, wow, thank you for this. You put into words exactly what I've been feeling but couldn't explain. It really did feel like a loyalty test. And the fact that he flipped after being totally fine with it just confused me even more. I really appreciate you validating that boundaries matter. Alright folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for asking my older daughter to buy a car for her sister? I have 2 daughters, a 26-year-old female and a 17-year-old female. I bought my daughter a car when she was first 16, not anything fancy, but a car that could let her drive from place A to B. Now she's 25 and she has a great job and makes a lot of money for someone her age, around $70,000 a year. Unfortunately, we're not doing well at this time. My wife had to quit her job due to health issues and my salary is quite low, so we've had to make a lot of changes in our life. We still want to give our daughter a car because we live in a suburban area, so she'll have to use a car to get to places a lot. She's been using my car for now, but I'll need to use it more as I got a job with longer hours. My daughter is single and lives in a low-cost area and doesn't have that much in the way of expenditures. She saves most of her money and can easily afford to buy my younger daughter a new car. I asked her if she could, but she got upset and said that she's not going to spend $20,000 on a teen who will probably crash the car. I immediately told her off on this comment. I told her that she was being selfish and that she has the money to give for a new car, but she chooses not to. She said that she was planning on buying a new car next year and she'll give her old one to her sister, but she won't be buying her a new one. I don't think that this is fair because that car would be 11 years old by the time that she gives it to her sister. We didn't give her an 11-year-old car, so I don't think that it's fair that my youngest has to drive an 11-year-old car. My oldest said that she knows a car dealership person who might be able to find us a cheaper new car, but I can't afford a new car right now, which is why I asked my oldest. She refuses, and I told her that she's selfish and left. My wife said that I went too far. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
Yes, you're the jerk. It is not your oldest daughter's responsibility to give your younger daughter a car. She has made a very generous offer of giving her a used car, and that is above and beyond her duty as a sister. You seem to feel entitled to your oldest daughter's money. It's not your oldest daughter's fault that you did not make the financial choices that you needed to ensure that your youngest daughter had a car, or that circumstances changed in some way you couldn't control. You have to accept that circumstances are different. You do not have that money, and your oldest daughter has been extremely generous to offer a used car.
You know, the thing is that I have a real problem with how OP is approaching the situation.
Yeah.
He gave a car, right? The car at the time was a gift.
Yep.
And gifts, as we've talked about before on this channel, shouldn't come with strings attached. Now he's basically saying, oh, we gave you a car, so now you owe us a car, right?
Right.
That's not a fair transaction.
It's not. And car prices have gone up drastically over the past few years.
Yeah.
Like, it's really hard to find cars, you know, even like new cars, even in the $20,000 range,
Yes.
you know. Like, the prices are just through the roof. And a good used car is perfectly acceptable for, you know, a first car.
Well, and an 11-year-old car isn't even that old, right? So I don't know why he thinks that this is an unacceptable type of thing,
He's
right?
being the ultimate choosy beggar.
Yeah. Like, OP's daughter has an incredibly generous thing that she's doing here. She's saying, I'll give her a used car, the car that I'm going to get rid of next year. I'm sure that she'll be thrilled, right? I'm sure that the sister is going to be thrilled about any car.
Right.
Even an 11-year-old car.
And if she isn't, it's time for her to learn a lesson in humility.
Yeah. Cars get old, that's just the way it is. And an 11-year-old car, as long as it doesn't have major, like, malfunctions or anything like that, is going to be perfectly fine for a high school kid, right? That's not a problem. I think that OP is, overselling this whole thing. I don't know if overselling is even the thing that I'm looking for here, but they're being a choosy beggar, like you said. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And folks, our next letter is an update. Update. Am I the jerk for telling my mom that it wasn't cute or funny to dress me as a hot dog instead of a princess? And Amber's going to give a summary on this.
So in this story, when OP was little, she was having a princess themed Halloween party for her dance school, and she really wanted to be Snow White, was so excited to be Snow White, told everyone she was going to be Snow White, and then her mom dressed her up as a hot dog. Well, flash forward a bunch of years, and OP's mom was recounting the story, and she was basically like, oh yeah, OP wasn't like the other girls, she wanted to go as a hot dog.
Yeah.
And OP pointed out to her mom, actually, no, I didn't want to do that. I want to be a Disney princess, and this was very upsetting for me that you forced me into this.
Hey everyone! First of all, I want to give a big thank you to all of the people who reached out with kindness back in October. I was struggling a lot with whether I'd done the right thing, and getting such an overwhelming consensus definitely helped me feel better. There wasn't actually that much fallout from the whole situation, and I kind of forgot about it for a few months, and my mom was a little awkward for the next few times that we saw each other. But that was all back to normal by Christmas. It didn't destroy our relationship, and I realized that a lot of my fears were just anxiety and overthinking clouding my judgment. My brother made a few snide remarks, but I didn't give or get any apology, and I figured that was that. However, last weekend, my mom picked me up from work and took me to her place, saying that she had a surprise and that I should shower and do my hair fancy. She had all the nicest skincare and her hair stuff laid out, which means a lot because she's never been into that kind of stuff. And when I was done, she surprised me with the most gorgeous snow white dress that I've ever seen. It is genuinely stunning quality, and I couldn't believe that it was actually for me. She was all dressed up as the Wicked Queen too, with a cowl and everything, and she took me to see Snow White movie together. Well, when I tell you that I almost cried, I'm not exaggerating. It was one of the best days that I've ever had with her, and I felt legit like a princess. When the little girls came up and asked for a picture, I swear that I've never enjoyed anything that much. I might actually try to get a job as a party princess if I can swing it, just because of how great this experience was. Well, after the movie, which is, by the way, better than most people are saying, I hated the whole love interest thing, but Rachel killed it. She apologized for not taking my feelings into consideration when I was younger and explained that she has always just wanted me to feel like I could be anyone that I wanted to be and that I didn't have to conform. But what she did ended up being a form of forced confirmation itself. And if I wanted to be a princess, she was going to do her best to make me feel like the best princess in the world. She did explain that the hot dog costume wasn't meant to be a punishment. She honestly thought that it would be funny, but that she would never have gone that far without making sure that I liked it. And she didn't actually ever intend to take Snow White away. I believe this. She seemed truly apologetic. And I told her that she's 200% forgiven. So things are good. I'm glad I spoke up when I did, and I think that my mom and I are going to be closer now, honestly. She's a good person, and I'm really grateful to have her as a mother. Thank you. All right, folks, what do you think of that update?
That's really wholesome, and I'm so glad that things turned out as well as they did. Everyone makes mistakes, and unfortunately, like a lot of well-intentioned people, in the effort of trying not to limit their kids, end up boxing them in. It's important that, if your kids love princesses, let them love princesses. Like, you can point out the problematic things in stories while still allowing them to experience that magic. And so I really think OP's mom approached the situation in pretty much the perfect way by acknowledging, I'm sorry I did this when you were little. I wasn't trying to punish you, but I see now that by doing this, I ended up boxing you in when the exact opposite of what I wanted to do. And then rectifying it and being like, and now if you love princess stuff, I'm going to support you wholly.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted to say as well. I think that the mother handled this really well. I think that she made a sincere apology, which is rare on these kinds of, posts. And she proved that she actually was sorry. Instead of trying to deflect or place blame or be like, oh, no, you're misremembering things or any other things, she actually took time to listen to OP and actually tried to do right by her daughter, which I think is a really sweet gesture. And this turned into a nice thing that they both liked and enjoyed. I'm glad that they had a good time at the movies and that this whole thing is going to draw them closer together. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here, and Amber, she has a joke.
What plant did the writer grow?
Oh, the plant that the writer grew was a man-eating plant named Seymour.
A poetry.
A poetry? Except for the plant shouldn't have been named Seymour. I don't know why I said that.
Yeah, it was Aubrey.
Aubrey. Yeah.
Jr.
Something like that.
Aubrey? I don't remember.
Feed me, Seymour. Feed me.
Yeah, and it's great poetry reading day.
Yeah, so go find yourself a man-eating plant and have it sing you poetry. That's all I can say. And I have Mega Mint. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy Manic Monday, folks. I hope your Monday is off to a manic start. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it on being a good parent or parent-in-law.
Being a good parent means acknowledging when you are wrong, admitting when you are wrong, and working to make amends and not trying to force your kids into what you want them to be or
Yeah.
force them to spend money because you don't have money.
Yeah. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.